Hello everyone and welcome back to Victoria 3. Glad you're still sticking around to the next episode. I hope you do have a cup of coffee with you because we are definitely going to need it for pushing onto the next levels. Now, one thing that we have now in this game is we've laid the foundation in the last episode, right? We have started building up a smaller construction industry that we're going to need for more buildings. Let's actually on pause there. So as we can see, my construction capacity is increasing now. We are at 40. My balance is also going down because we need more and more money for construction goods. Right now, we're still finishing one more construction sector. And then we're starting on some more wheat farms and very important iron and wood production because we do need more of that. Grain is just very important because people really don't like expensive food, expensive bread especially. And we do really need to push this one as... yeah, we do get more radicalization with that. As we can see, 100,000 since the beginning of the game, since half a year actually, in half a year only. And the higher this goes, the more likely it is for civil unrest, and we don't want that so early on. I'm also going to do something here, looking at my trade routes for grain. We are not exporting grain at the moment, but there is a high chance that someone would like to get our grain from our neighbors, right? So I can't directly control trade routes in this game, so other nations are free to trade with us since we have the free trade active, but I can put tariffs on trade routes, so I can protect my domestic supply, and we're going to put this one into effect here for grain. Very important. So that means on exports of grain there's going to be a 20% tariff now. That means exporting grain is more expensive and people are less likely to do this, right? So we rather keep the grain to ourselves. Let's drink something to that. A good brewed coffee is everything. Now, next up for the grain. Next up is the iron. Now, iron is really, really important for us. It is for construction, it is for tool making, it is for steel making. Iron is everything. So I'm also going to put a tariff on iron. We are not going to export iron in the future, or we're at least making it harder for people to export it. And the same goes with wood, right? So those are the three major things. Tools as well. We don't want to export tools. As we can see, we're already using tools for quite a lot of industries. That is, my livestock ranches need a lot of them, my coal mines and my logging camps also, and my construction sector, of course. So tool is that. The rest we can keep like that. There's also fish, but fish is okay. Is there actually already a trade route going outbound? No. We can have a look at my trade routes, by the way. So as we can see, we're, for example, exporting a lot of fabric to Britain. So Britain has started a fabric exportation of 2,000. So this is something that we really have to close a look here. Great Britain, it's the #1 power in the game right now, is exporting that. I didn't control that. They just saw that the price is right and they start exporting fabric. However, this leads to a shortage of 1,100 fabric on the American market, and with that raises the prices. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to cancel this trade route because I can do this. It is costing me a bit of profit, but it is bringing fabric back into the American market. And with that, fabric is pretty important for my industry, right? And also for my population. So we want to keep the prices low for that. I'm not going to put a tariff on that though. I think there's just going to be another trade route anyway, but it's fine. Fabric can still be exported, but not in that quantity that we had just now. This is not good. Let's just check it out. Anything else here that we should worry about right now? No, actually, I think we're good. Let's also check the details there again. Furniture is a bit low. That's okay. Food is a bit low, so grocers. Luxury clothes, we really don't care about this at this point. It can be expensive, right? Someone who can afford luxury good doesn't care about the price anyway. And then we got the clothes here, for example, which is, it's okay. It's a minor shortage, but it's okay to not affect prices too much at the moment. So that's okay. That was the market now. A small glimpse on the market. Indian removal. In accordance with the removal treaty, it is time for the Cherokee of South Carolina to relocate to the Indian Territory. So what is happening here, what continues, we have the Indian Territory in Oklahoma. Is that the one? I think it's the one, right? Let's check it out. Indian Territory, yep, that's the one. So right now what we're doing is we are relocating the Native Americans from these territories into this territory here, right? Oklahoma. So everyone is being moved over there, so we can have room over there for American people, for European people that move over. In interior. Some holdouts refuse to leave though, and many are poorly equipped for the journey. So what can we do here now? Two options. Either we pay for the journey, so we guarantee a safe passage for these people, and we pay 2,300 on our government expenses for 2 years. So that would leave us with 10,000 surplus. Or we say coerce them by bayonet point. So we are forcing them. Many of them will die along the way, and also many of them, of course, will radicalize because of this. We also get the Cherokee Protestant in South Carolina. So this will lead to a conflict more quickly. Now, I'm inclined to offer some assistance because we can afford it, first of all. And second of all, it will make the journey a bit easier for them, and thus radicalization doesn't happen so quickly. So let's go with that. I might regret it later on anyway, but still, we are still looking fantastic on the money. We have also a gold reserve of 4 million plus. So it's okay for now, right? As we also can see, construction is now at 50,000 expenses almost, right? So we started out with 28,000, something like that. And it's increasing because we have more construction sectors now that are starting their work. So in Michigan, we built the first one, the first expansion. And as we can see, this is now fully operating. So the employment is full, right? And the goods are coming in. Boy, but these goods are expensive. So really iron. The next wheat farms will be completed soon now. We have 50 construction capacity. So we are building 3 buildings at the same time. That is what we can do right now with what we have. And this leads, of course, to a faster completion. So the wheat farms is next. Let's check it out again. So we should see the balance here going down. However, and this is pretty important, consumption of grain, of course, continues to go up again once we rise in population. This is not important for us. That is okay too. Speaking about population, we have these parameters here as well, right? So not only the 4 major ones, the currencies more or less, but also our parameters. So the gross domestic product, that is our wealth more or less. We have the literacy, so 45% of my population are literate right now. We have the standard living of 13, which makes it impoverished, and that's number 5 worldwide. We have 15 million people climbing at a rate of 0.7%. And the radicals and the loyalists. So loyalists, these are helping us with laws. And the radicalized, these will not help us with laws. They will actually help us with revolutions. Righto, 20 more days for my dedicated police force. So this is the law that we started in the last episode. My first institution, which is the police force. We're going to need them. The tension is still going up with the Native Americans. This leads me now to the military, right? We got 6 battalions, 11 battalions in total. Though some of them are not being used at the moment. We are using only 6 of them. So I do need another general. Let's go ahead and recruit a general, right? So the first step would be to build barracks. There we can recruit soldiers, but those soldiers will need a general. So we have now, as we can see, 3 headquarters. And for example, we got the Midwest. That's this whole territory. So whenever we build a barrack in these states, it's going to lead to the Midwest battalions. The Dixie headquarters is for the Southern American. So whenever we build barracks or naval bases here, they will lead to the Dixie headquarters. And then we got the New England headquarters, where there's also 3. Let's just check it out. We don't have a general in the Dixie headquarters at the moment, right? So there's 5 battalions that are not being used. They're just idle at the moment. So we definitely should recruit a general for the Dixies. There it is. Let's recruit one. And we can decide between 2 generals. So the first one is Thomas Jessup and the other one is William Shubrick. Both of them are, of course, of the armed forces, and both of them have different strengths. So this one here is very good with the naval commander. Doesn't make really sense to use him though, right? Because he's good with ships. This one here is meticulous. So he's giving me a bonus of offense, defense, and recovery rate for the soldiers. He's got no real penalties, so let's recruit Thomas Jessup for my battalions of the Dixie headquarters. So we can see him now here then as well. He's now active, and he has 5 battalions. So that leads to a total of 11 battalions that can be used now in combat. We could promote him already. And I think we're going to do this. With this, we can raise the battalion limit to 20. Right, and also his interest group is going up in strength. Let's promote him once. We can afford this with the 5 bureaucracy that we have. Very good. So we get 3 active generals now for the wars to come, because there's going to be some big wars. Now, very important, One more day for the police force, and then we'll just see what happens. There it is. An influential faction within the intelligentsia has grown frustrated with their co-members' neutrality on the topic of the dedicated police force. Themselves in favor of the law, they have now resolved to form a separate political faction intent on passing it. This will create the... So intelligentsia will get the members' flight, so they will lose some attraction. But the intelligentsia will get weaker, right? But still, we get a 15% enactment success. The other one would be to put a bit of that power to the armed forces. They would get an interest, but we only get 10% enactment success chance. Let's go with the 15, and the intelligentsia gets a bit weaker, but that is fine overall. So 42% that we have. Another event, not that great, in Colombia. So with the prices of groceries soaring across the country, the Democratic Party is finding itself under relentless pressure from the opposition, accused of recklessly toying with the welfare of its citizens. And this would add some negative momentum to the Democratic Party. Are we in a... Yeah, we are in an election phase right now. So in 40 days we have election, right? So as we can see, who's leading right now? Democratic Party is leading a bit. So this event could actually decide the fate of the election. We could also... Oh, fund soup kitchens for 5,000. This would put us negative. Democratic Party. Democratic Party is the southern planters and the rural folk right now. These people, of course, we don't want to have long-term wise because they're pro-slavery. But they're helping us out right now with the laws we want, the dedicated police force and also the colonial expansion, right? So I'd rather keep with them for now. I'd rather stick with them for now. If, however, say I don't want to pay the 5,000, they will lose momentum and most likely the weak party will win. And that is the intelligentsia. With them, we would be pro-anti-slavery, of course, so it would be easier for us to advance towards that. However, we would lose the momentum on colonization. Difficult. No, actually, yeah, we're going to pay that. I'm sorry, but we're going to pay that because I want to keep the southern planters in my government for a little bit longer so we can enact all these laws that we want to have, especially also for colonization. The intelligentsia will get strong enough anyway. Oh, is that right? Let's drink a cup of coffee for that and think about it. And for that, I would like to check out my current laws. So we have the Colonial Resettlement active right now, which is the middle ground, right? The colonial exploitation was my goal originally because it gives me a better colonial growth. And we're going to get a lot of colonies in the future, right? However, I think we are already at a good law there, and we're going to say they will just have to eat something else, and the Democratic Party will lose momentum with that. So they most likely will lose the election. But could also be that they still win, right? But let's go with this, because I rather want to abolish slavery faster, and this is still a long way, right? So right now we're in legacy slavery, so in the original form. Slavery banned is up here, so there is a long way to get up there. So this is the first of many steps, weakening them. Yeah, I think that's what we go here with. The intelligentsia is already pretty strong with 21%. Industrialized is growing, and the planters are going down. We could rural folk. We could bolster the intelligentsia for 200 authority. They would be even stronger than. The same do with the industrialists. But let's just wait who wins the election, right? 40 days. And there's definitely going to be a change here now, since, yep, they have a negative momentum, as we can see. Whereas the weak party has a momentum of 45%. Right, but this is all rather dry. As we can see, the weak party is now winning clearly. It is gaining support, so they will be in the government in the next one, the intelligentsia. Which is good. So this is pushing our anti-slavery stance. Alright, construction sector is now fully working. So we get everything. And as we can see, the construction capacity continues to rise. And we're building now 3 buildings at the same time. And that's iron mines. And this is going to be pretty good for us, because the more iron we have on the market again, the lower the iron price and the lower the cost of construction goods. Alright, as we also can see, dedicated police force has now a chance of 42% in 260 days, so a high chance. And even if it doesn't, is even if it doesn't succeed then, we still have a 34% chance that it advances to the next level, and then it will be a guaranteed success. So this is a done thing actually. Only 20% stall and no failure chance. So it's going to work out. Let's have a quick look at my journal. Do we miss something here that we could do in the meantime? The munitions industry, the Indian removal, so that's what happens right now. Central Archives, Urbanize America, the slavery debate, so this is what is happening right now. Has enacted slavery ban. That is the ultimate goal in the early game as the US, right? We need to get rid of that. And for that, we do need to weaken the southern planters, because they right now, they veto any kind of advancement in the slave laws. So I need to weaken them. How can I do this? First of all, by building more buildings in the industry sector. What we are doing already with the mines, for example, and also the factories then. Very important, and not that many farms really. And the other one is a direct reduction of their strength with institutions. And we do have the law enforcement. So we are already doing that also with the dedicated police force, but we still have another level available here. And any increase in the law enforcement is directly reducing the military strength of the sorry, it's vice versa. Any kind of level that we reduce the political strength of the southern planters. So this is actually pretty good, and we're doing this. Going down one level not only gives me back a bit bureaucracy, but it will also reduce the strength of the southern planters. Quick work on the institutions. They are being unlocked with laws and tax, right? So right now we have 3. There's going to be more, like the health system, for example. Right now we have colonial affairs, because we're in the colonial age more or less. It's at the maximum level right now of 0.2 growth. We have the education. That is at the middle ground. So we could go one step higher. So education access is going to increase. Let's do this. So I'm going to activate this one. And like everything in this game, it's a process. It's not happening immediately. And it's a process that will cost me more bureaucracy. As we can see, we have a total bureaucracy cost right now of 770 for these institutions. Reducing an institution level gives me back some bureaucracy. Increasing it costs me bureaucracy. We have 220 available right now, so I think we'll be golden, especially since we do get something back here from the law enforcement. This will reduce southern planters' political strength. We need that. And at the same time, I'm going to increase the literacy in my country, because the higher that is, the better workforce I have, the more technology I can research faster, and also the better workforce I have, and higher educated political factions I have, right? And they will pass me better laws in the future. Alright, so that's the institutions. That's going to take a while before that goes into effect. There is 12 more days for the election, and then we're going to have a better look at the interest groups, because that's going to change now soon after the election, and I'm going to talk about that. Let's just have a look at our economy there again real quick. So as we can see, the mines are being coming along now in the different parts of my country. So this we should then be really seeing in my economy. And while the construction continues, we can also just quickly check out our rank. So at the moment we are ranked 6th in the world, right? So we are one of the bigger powers already at the start of the game, which doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be easier than other countries, right? The best power right now is Great Britain, obviously. 19th century was the century of Britain. France is also very strong still, but France is probably not going to stay strong that long. It depends on how they fare in Africa. And we got Russia, Austria, and Prussia before us as well. So Austria, Prussia, they're going to have some big conflicts in the future. Oh! Right, election is over. And the Whig Party won. Unsurprisingly. Right, the Whig Party won, and with that the intelligentsia are now the strongest party. Doesn't mean, though, that we could use them. So we have a new president now, Henry Clay. He is of the intelligentsia. He's a pacifist. It's not going to be... Yeah, it's going to be very good, actually, for anti-slavery. And he is meticulous, so bureaucracy, we get a bit of a boost there. And he's inspirational orator, so he's got a good popularity. He's also a pacifist. That means that he endorses no colony affairs, but I'm not going to change the colony just because of him. Let's just see if we can reform the government. We only have a legitimacy now of 37% because we got parties in our government that haven't won the election. So let's get rid of them. Let's add the intelligentsia. Gives me a 32% boost right away. Do they fare well with the industrialists? Not that much. surprisingly enough, they're very good with the evangelicals because they want to join the Whig Party as well. However, that doesn't really fit together, right? They're both of different orders. The bourgeoisie, nope. And we can also see the different traits they have, right? So avant-garde for the intelligentsia, so they give me a negative 20% society cost for technology. Also 100% migration attraction, which is really good. The evangelists give me authority, education access, reduction, and also be fruitful and multiply. So 2% bonus to birth rate, which is very good. Now, they would only do this if they're plus 10 on the approval rating though. And we would get the education access reduction if they're unhappy, sorry. Right, so they're not unhappy, so we'll not get this penalty. However, we get 10% authority if they're happy. So let's keep them in the party right now. And I would also probably like to go in with the industrialists or the petite bourgeoisie. The bourgeoisie gives me 10% bureaucracy right away. It reduces my legitimacy a bit, but the 10% is really good. And it will also get me the loan interest rate. And the armed forces give me the military. Nah, we cannot use them. I think this is a good government there. 74% legitimacy, and we get some good trades. So the society technology cost reduction, migration attraction, and we also get the bureaucracy and also the authority once the evangelicals do like us a bit more, which they will, right, once we are in the government with them. New government is now intact. And as we can see now, we do have now these bonuses. And this is the interest group traits that we get. We should always look out for them. That is, when we are, right, so every one of these interest groups has traits. And these traits unlock with their approval rating towards us. Right now, the intelligentsia likes us a lot, plus 12. That means both of these are activated. The penalty is not activated because the penalty is only coming into effect if they don't like us. Avant-garde and propagandists is very good with them. For example, the southern planters have their penalty unlocked now. Agricultural tax income reduced. Plantation tax income reduced. We have now a negative balance because of that. Noble privileges because they're unhappy. They're no longer in the government, right? I think also because we have some laws that they don't really like. So, unhappy with us. The rural folk, for example, is at plus 12, so they give me 2 bonuses here. Infrastructure boost and agricultural boost once again. And with that, this leads to the total interest, the total active interest group that we have right now. So these are interests. We should always try to be on good terms with them. Industrialist is plus 4. So with plus 5, we would get the minus 10% production technology cost reduction for the researching of production buildings, basically. So we probably should also try to get on better terms with them. How can we do this? By enacting laws they like. Right now we still have the police force law that is being effect, so I'm going to wait there. Nothing else that we need to do. We got 3 events. The abolitionists' martyrdom. An ardent abolitionist writer died in a firefight, so against slavery, against the pro-slavery mob which had gathered in front of his house. The story has gone national and radicalized previously apathetic individuals high and low. I can now say, do I want to be anti-slavery or pro-slavery by basically boosting people? And Andrew Jackson would get the abolitionist trait with that of the rural folk. Or I could also Daniel Webster against the slaver trait. Let's go anti-slavery, of course. So one of the primary political factions gets the anti-slavery now, which is going to help us out. Language in the classrooms. The C1 students sometimes use their native language in American schools. Some have called for teachers to penalize the use of these languages, forcing children to speak the official language of America, of USA. Should they do this or not? Now, 2 options. They should speak the proper language, which is English, or they can speak their own language as well as part of their heritage. Now, in that case, this boosts intelligentsia, but we're already at max with them. Whereas we do lose interest group with the evangelicals, right? So we want to actually get their first trait at least. So that's not good. Let's go with they should speak the proper language. We do get some 20% assimilation, but also 20% radicals from discrimination, which is the Native Americans. But they're not very strong, right? So I'm going with that. Last event for now. The fugitive slave belonging to John Calhoun has escaped the estate and fled to a northern free state. Calhoun has demanded his return. Once again, a slave event. All full of that right now in the early game for the US. It's different in other nations, of course. We could once again say, free soils make anyone free. The slave is free. We actually get the abolitionist appeased for the royal folk. And also some 3 approval rating. This will give me the highest trade of them because they get above the threshold of 10. Let's go with that. They are now at 12. Let's just check it out what we get. This is the honest work. And now we get the farmer market. That is 10% infrastructure boost. Very good. Very important boost that we got out of that now. And also anti-slavery, which is helping us out further. Alright, another week is over, so the market prices change. As we can see, iron price is now going down a bit. This is helping us out because we use it for construction. Luxury goods is still increasing in price, which is fine. And steel is also going up. We are not producing steel yet. It's very interesting that Texas is part of Mexico now. This didn't happen before, so I've tried, of course, the US before that a bit. And in that case, Texas actually won independence. Now they're not. It's just interesting to see how this develops. Mexico is stronger than us right now when it comes to the military. So I could conquer the state of Texas, right? And as we can see, they have a lot of battalions, right? So 29, and we only have 11 that we can use. So that's not going to help us out a lot. So Texas will have to decide its own fate for now. I'm probably going for independence war again at some point. Texas is though very important for us later on because they have oil fields that we're going to need once the oil age has been unlocked. Alright, another week is coming over soon. With that, the iron mine. Let's boost the speed there a bit because there's not that much I can do right now for till construction finishes. We're still working on the better market prices. One more week for that, and tech is also going to be researched at the moment. There's also no important quest that I could endorse right now. Munitions industry is not something I need. The Central Archives is not something. Slave debate is what we're working on at the moment. Indian removal is what we're working on, and urbanization of America is a very long-term goal, right? So we're at 3% out of the 75%. Urbanization basically means that when you have more industry in a state, it creates more cities. And if you have 100 urbanization in the state, and every factory that you build creates urbanization, right? Once you have that, you get an urban center, like Chicago, for example. And this urbanizes America. And in urbanized centers, in cities, you do get then services. Alright, we built another iron mine. This is reducing the construction costs now already to 50,000 only, I'm saying. And the price is going down a bit, as we can see here. Right? But only a bit. We still need to build more iron mines. They are being built now, and as soon as they are finished, they will then start to employ people. As we can see, this one here was just finished, right? So it is now employing more people, so laborers, in that case for now. And it is also adding 60 urbanization to Virginia, right? So working towards another urban center. In Virginia, we already have 2 urban centers. And they, for example, then consume coal, glass, and wood to produce what? Services. And services we're taxing. So the more urban centers I have, the more money I make out of taxation for the services. But we are going to dive deeper into urban centers once they become more relevant. Right now, it's just important to know we create urban centers by factories, and we can tax services, and thus get more taxes out of urban centers. Alright, another iron mine has just been finished, so we are going down in price good now, so another 3,000 down in construction costs, very good. The next iron mine is finished in 2 weeks, and we are already starting working on the first logging camp as well, which takes another 6 weeks now. So we're slowly working on the industry there, on our economy, making it better for the future. One more week for this one. Let's just speed it up. There it is, and it's finished. And we further reduce our tax income, our expenses. And as we can see also, iron is now going up here and down in prices, right? But up in supply. So that is really important overall. I think we are actually going to build more. Let's build more iron mines for now. Let's just check it out there again. I think in Michigan we don't have any yet, and we do have good infrastructure and a construction sector in Michigan. So I would like to do this. Let's build some 4 iron mines in Michigan right away. Right, that's boosting this one here. And since I know by now that in Michigan we are going to get the steel industry rolling, it's very good to have iron mines there, because you have the iron and the steel in the same state then, which is boosting its throughput later on. Perfect. Alright, one more thing I would like to wait for now is the dedicated police force. 5 more days. 4 more days. And this will then decide. 46% chance. And 44% chance that it just advances. I think it will be... it could be very well be successful now. But knowing my luck, probably not. We'll just see. There it is. And we have it. Dedicated police force. So we do get now 10% reduction of radicals. And also a 30% state penalty reduction of turmoils. And turmoils we're going to have in the colonies. But that's that. I think we also have a new institution now for the law enforcement. I could now go for level 4. But I'm not doing this for now, of course. We are still reducing that for the radicals. For the power of the southern planters, right? We want to reduce their power. However, we would be able now to enact a new law. What is interesting, since we have the intelligentsia already active, we could have the slavery banned already, right? 32% chance. However, this will radicalize the southern planters, and they will be really angry at us for this. Tricky. We will have a civil war with that. What we can also see is the cloud of the southern planters is already going down. It was at 20 plus or something, and it's at 19 now. So they're losing slowly but steadily a bit of power, and the lower the power is, the less likely it is for them to really start a revolution, or the less powerful they are also when it comes to their army sizes then. So I'm going to wait a bit longer, but I think we could start with abolishing slavery then pretty soon as well, since we have the right government for that, and no election in sight. That is really important. I'm just waiting now for some further constructions, so the next iron mine is being finished soon. And as we can see, we're slowly getting into the positive again, so we just nagged a bit on our gold reserve, but not a lot, before we go positive again. And then, yeah, we just continue here, building up our industry, and I think also we'll see some new action then over here, as the next colonies are being finished soon, and this will further radicalize the Native Americans. Stay tuned.